March 1979. Rome. Audrey Hepburn sits in her Swiss chalet reading the Italian newspapers, her morning ritual. Coffee, newspapers, checking to see if her husband made headlines again. Today he did. The headline, Dotti spotted at Scarabeo with mystery blonde. Below it, a photo. Andrea Dotti, 45 years old, psychiatrist, Audrey Hepburn's husband of 10 years. Leaving a nightclub at 2 a.m., his arm around a woman who is clearly not his wife. A woman who looks barely 25. Audrey stares at the photo. Not with shock, not with heartbreak, with exhaustion. Because this is the 100th article, maybe the 200th. She stopped counting years ago. Her son Luca, 9 years old, walks into the kitchen, sees the newspaper. "Is that Papa?" Audrey folds the paper quickly. "Yes." He was at a work event. With that lady? A colleague. Luca doesn't believe her. At 9 years old, he already knows his father lies, already knows his mother covers for him, already knows their family is built on pretending everything is fine when nothing is fine. "Why don't you leave him?" Luca asks. Simple question, devastating answer. "Because it's complicated," Audrey says. The answer she's given for years. To friends, to family, to herself. But the truth is simpler. Audrey stays because she's 50 years old. Twice divorced. Exhausted. And the idea of starting over. Of being alone. Of being a 3-time divorcee. Of admitting total failure. Is more terrifying than staying. So she stays. For 3 more years. From 1979 to 1982. 3 years of public humiliation. 3 years of Rome newspapers documenting every affair. 3 years of everyone knowing, everyone seeing, everyone pitying. This is the story of those 3 years. The public scandal that everyone witnessed. The marriage that died in newspapers. The woman who chose humiliation over loneliness. And the moment she finally said, "Enough." To understand why Audrey stayed from 1979 to 1982, you need to understand how she got there. January 18th, 1969. Audrey Hepburn marries Andrea Dotti. She's 39 years old, just divorced from Mel Ferrer after 14 years of marriage. Tired, damaged, desperate for something different, something better. Andrea Dotti seems perfect. Italian, charming. A psychiatrist, intelligent, cultured, sophisticated. 13 years younger than Audrey, which should be a red flag. But Audrey ignores it. She's in love, or thinks she is, or wants to be. The wedding is small. Civil ceremony in Switzerland. Audrey wears a pink Givenchy mini dress. Simple. No illusions of fairy tale romance this time. Just 2 people committing to try. They settle in Rome, Andrea's city. Audrey enrolls her son Sean, 9 years old from her marriage to Mel, in a bilingual school. Tries to build a normal life, a stable life. For 4 months, it works. Andrea is attentive, loving, present. Everything Mel wasn't. Audrey thinks, maybe I finally got it right. Maybe 3rd time really is the charm. Then 2 things happen. First, Audrey gets pregnant. High-risk pregnancy at age 40. But wanted. Desperately wanted. Second, Andrea starts disappearing. Late nights at the office. Emergency patient calls, conferences, meetings, always plausible excuses. But Audrey has been married to a cheater before. She knows the signs. One evening, Audrey, 5 months pregnant, she confronts him. "Where were you last night? You said you'd be home by 9. It was midnight." Emergency patient session, Andrea says smoothly. Suicidal patient. I couldn't leave. On a Saturday night? Mental illness doesn't follow a schedule, Audrey. She wants to believe him, wants to trust him. But something feels wrong. The way he doesn't make eye contact. The perfume smell on his jacket. The lipstick trace on his collar he thinks she didn't notice. Are you seeing someone else? Audrey asks directly. Don't be ridiculous. You're pregnant, emotional, reading things that aren't there. That phrase, you're emotional, becomes Andrea's standard response every time Audrey questions, every time she doubts, every time she catches him in a lie. You're emotional. You're hormonal. You're imagining things. Gaslighting. Classic gaslighting. From a psychiatrist who knows exactly what he's doing. February 1970. Audrey gives birth to Luca. Andrea arrives at the hospital an hour late. Doesn't hold the baby. Leaves the same day. Work, he says. Patients need me. The affairs continue. Private at first, whispered about in Rome society circles. Everyone knows, except Audrey. Or maybe Audrey knows, but pretends not to. Easier that way. 1970 to 1973. Audrey focuses on motherhood. Sean is now 10, 11, 12. Luca is 1, 2, 3. She's busy, distracted. And Andrea's affairs remain discreet enough that she can pretend they're not happening. But in Rome, everyone talks. At dinner parties, Audrey doesn't attend. People gossip. Have you seen Andrea with that girl? Which one? He has several. Poor Audrey. Everyone knows except her. Except Audrey does know. She just doesn't have proof. And without proof, she can maintain the illusion. 1974. Audrey is pregnant again at 45. High risk doesn't begin to describe it. After 5 previous losses, after Luca nearly killing her during birth, her doctors are horrified. Signora Dotti, this pregnancy could kill you. I'm keeping the baby. Then complete bed rest, 0 stress. Your body cannot handle this. But Andrea's affairs make stress inevitable. He's not even hiding anymore, comes home with lipstick on his collar, lies badly, makes excuses that don't make sense. Where were you until 3 a.m.? Patient emergency. Which patient? I can't disclose that. Doctor-patient confidentiality. Convenient. The perfect shield. Hide behind ethics. Pretend professionalism. Keep cheating. The stress causes cramping, bleeding. Audrey goes to the hospital. The pregnancy is failing. Her 5th miscarriage. The baby she fought so hard to keep. Gone. Andrea doesn't visit the hospital. Sends flowers with a card. Sorry for your loss. Not our loss. Your loss. As if the baby was only hers. As if he bears no responsibility. As if his affairs and cruelty didn't cause the miscarriage. After 1974, something breaks in Audrey. Not her body, though. That's broken too. Her spirit, her hope, her belief that things will get better. She stops confronting Andrea. Stops asking where he was. Stops caring. Because caring hurts too much. Easier to be numb. To coexist, to survive rather than live. 1975 to 1978. Andrea's affairs become bolder. He's not sneaking around anymore. He's bringing women to public places, restaurants, nightclubs, places where people recognize him, where people know he's married to Audrey Hepburn. Friends start calling Audrey. I saw Andrea at Hostaria Romana with a young woman, very young. Audrey, I'm sorry, but you should know. I know, Audrey says quietly, but thank you. Why do you stay? Because I don't know how to leave. That's the truth. Audrey, icon, legend, one of the most famous women in the world, doesn't know how to leave. Doesn't have the energy. Doesn't have the courage. Doesn't want to admit failure again. So she stays in Switzerland with the children while Andrea lives in Rome with his mistresses, separated in all but name, married on paper only. But the charade maintains. When they appear together publicly, rare occasions, they smile, hold hands, pretend, because that's what you do. Protect the image, protect the children, protect the lie. Then 1979 happens, and everything changes. January 1979. A paparazzo photographs Andrea Dotti leaving a nightclub with a blonde woman. The photo is grainy, taken from across the street, but undeniable. The photo is published in Il Messaggero, a major Rome newspaper. The caption, Dr. Andrea Dotti, husband of Audrey Hepburn, enjoys late-night outing with companion. It's not the first affair. But it's the first public documentation. The first time the proof isn't just gossip. It's printed, published, permanent. Audrey sees the article. Friends send it to her in Switzerland. Have you seen this? Yes, Audrey says. I've seen it. Are you going to do something? Like what? Leave him, divorce him. This is public now. Everyone knows. Everyone's known for years. The newspaper doesn't change anything. But it does change things. Because private humiliation is bearable. Public humiliation is different. Now it's not just Rome society gossiping at dinner parties. It's newspapers. Strangers. The world watching her be humiliated. February 1979. Another photo. Andrea at a different nightclub. Different woman. Same humiliation. March 1979. Another photo. Another woman. The newspapers aren't hiding it anymore, aren't being subtle. They're documenting Andrea Dotti's affairs like sports scores, tracking them, reporting them, making them news. The headlines get crueler. Dotti's latest conquest. While Audrey hides in Switzerland, husband enjoys Rome nightlife. Audrey Hepburn's humiliation. Photos tell the story. The articles aren't sympathetic. They're gossipy, salacious, treating Audrey's pain as entertainment, her marriage as spectacle. April 1979. A reporter approaches Audrey in Switzerland. Signora Dotti, have you seen the photos of your husband? No comment. Are you planning to divorce? My marriage is private. It's not private anymore. It's in every newspaper. Audrey walks away. But the reporter is right. Her marriage isn't private. It's public entertainment. And she's the punchline. May 1979. The articles get more detailed. Names, locations, times. The press isn't just photographing Andrea's affairs. They're investigating them, finding out who the women are, where they met, how long the relationships lasted. One article lists multiple affairs, a timeline. Sources say Dr. Dotti has maintained relationships with at least 15 women since his marriage to Hepburn, 15. That's the documented number. The real number is probably higher. Friends call Audrey constantly. "Leave him. This is unbearable. You don't deserve this." "I know I don't deserve this." "Then why stay?" "Because leaving requires energy I don't have." That's the truth nobody understands. Depression isn't dramatic. It's not crying and screaming. It's exhaustion. It's knowing you should leave, but not having the strength. It's choosing familiar misery over unknown change. June to December, 1979. The articles continue, monthly, sometimes weekly, each one a new humiliation, a new affair, a new woman. Andrea doesn't apologize, doesn't even deny it anymore. Italian men have needs. Italian wives understand this. "I'm not Italian," Audrey says coldly. "No, you're not." The implication is clear. If Audrey were a proper Italian wife, she'd accept this. She'd look the other way. She'd understand that men like Andrea need variety, need young women, need constant validation. But Audrey isn't Italian, and she doesn't accept it. She just doesn't have the energy to leave. 1979 to 1982. 3 years. From the first published photo to the final divorce filing. 3 years of public humiliation. 3 years of documented affairs. 3 years of everyone asking, why doesn't she leave? Here's why. Reason 1. The children. Luca is 9 years old in 1979. Impressionable. Already damaged by watching his father cheat and his mother suffer. Audrey thinks, if I divorce now, I'll destroy him. Better to wait. Wait until he's older. Wait until he can handle it. Sean is 18, about to leave home. Audrey thinks, wait until Sean's settled. Then deal with the marriage. But children don't make divorce easier. They make it harder. Because you're not just ending a marriage. You're dismantling a family. And Audrey, who grew up without a father, is terrified of doing that to her sons. Reason 2. Fear of loneliness. Audrey is 50 years old in 1979. 2 divorces already. No romantic prospects. No career to distract her. Just the prospect of being alone forever. Andrea is terrible, but he's company. Even bad company is better than none. Even humiliation is better than emptiness. So she stays, not because she loves him, because she's terrified of being alone. Reason 3. Exhaustion divorces work, lawyers, paperwork, negotiations, fighting, public statements, press coverage, starting over. Audrey is exhausted, clinically depressed, barely functioning. The idea of divorce, of fighting, of starting over, is overwhelming. Easier to stay, to accept, to survive. Reason 4. Shame. Audrey has been married 3 times. James Hansen, engagement broken. Mel Ferrer, divorced 1968. Andrea Dotti, married 1969. If she divorces Andrea, she's a 3-time failure. A woman who can't make relationships work. A cautionary tale. The shame of that, of being known as someone who fails at love, keeps her trapped. Reason 5. Hope pathetic, irrational, but real. Audrey keeps hoping Andrea will change, will stop cheating, will come home, will be the man she thought she married. Every time he apologizes, rare, she thinks, maybe this time. Maybe he's finally learned. Maybe things will get better. They never do. But hope is powerful, even false hope. These 5 reasons keep Audrey trapped from 1979 to 1982. 3 years of public suffering. 3 years of humiliation, all because leaving seems impossible. But in 1982, something shifts. Not one big moment, just accumulation. Audrey wakes up one morning and realizes, this is killing me. Literally killing me. The stress, the depression, the humiliation, it's destroying her physically. She's sick constantly, can't sleep, can't eat, losing weight, losing life. And she thinks, I survived the war. I survived starvation. I survived 5 miscarriages. I survived losing my daughter. I am not going to let this man kill me. That thought, I am not going to let this man kill me, gives her the courage she needs. March 1982. Audrey calls her lawyer. I want a divorce from Andrea. I want it done quickly, quietly, permanently. Are you sure? You've been separated for years. Is the legal divorce necessary? Yes. I need it official. I need it finished. I need to be free. The divorce proceedings begin. 13 years of marriage, over. Andrea doesn't fight it, doesn't contest, doesn't even seem to care. Fine, whatever you want. He's already moved on, already has new girlfriends, already living his life as if Audrey doesn't exist. The divorce is just paperwork. But for Audrey, it's liberation. Legal proof that she's no longer tied to this man, no longer responsible for his behavior, no longer humiliated by his choices. The divorce is finalized in November 1982. Audrey is 53 years old, single for the first time in 14 years, free. The press coverage is extensive. Audrey Hepburn ends 3rd marriage. Hollywood icon's latest divorce. Audrey finally leaves cheating husband. The articles are sympathetic now. Now that she's left, she's the victim, the survivor, the woman who finally found courage. But 3 years ago, when she was staying, enduring, surviving, those same newspapers called her pathetic. Weak, foolish, told her to leave, judged her for staying. Nobody understands that leaving isn't simple, that courage doesn't happen overnight, that sometimes survival means staying until you're strong enough to go. After the divorce, Audrey moves permanently to Switzerland. Luca, now 12, lives with her full-time. Sean, now 22, is independent. Andrea stays in Rome with his girlfriends. Friends ask Audrey, "Do you regret the marriage?" "I regret staying so long. I don't regret leaving." "Why did you stay? Even after the newspapers?" "Because I was broken, and broken people make broken choices. I wasn't strong enough to leave until I was." "When did you get strong enough?" "When I realized staying would kill me. When I chose life over comfort. When I decided I'd rather be alone than dead." That's the truth. Audrey didn't leave because she stopped loving Andrea. She never really loved him. She left because staying was fatal. And she wanted to live 1982 to 1993. The final decade of Audrey's life, finally free from Andrea Dotti. She meets Robert Wolders in 1980, before the divorce is finalized. Robert is Dutch, kind, devoted, everything Andrea wasn't. They never marry, but they're partners, companions, equals. Robert knows about Andrea, about the affairs, about the newspapers, about the 3 years Audrey stayed despite public humiliation. "Why did you stay so long?" Robert asks gently. Because I didn't know I deserved better, Audrey admits. Andrea convinced me I was difficult, emotional, that his cheating was my fault, and I believed him. It wasn't your fault. I know that now. But I didn't know it then. That's the insidious part of emotional abuse. It makes you believe you deserve the treatment, that you caused it, that leaving makes you the bad person. Andrea spent 13 years convincing Audrey she was the problem, that she was too famous, too busy, too demanding, that his affairs were her fault. And she believed it, until she didn't. In the final decade of her life, free from Andrea, Audrey finds peace. Not happiness exactly, but peace. She works with UNICEF, travels, spends time with her sons, lives quietly. Andrea remarries, has more affairs, lives the same life he always lived. Audrey's presence or absence makes no difference to him. She was just another wife, another woman, easily replaced. But for Audrey, the freedom is everything. She tells friends, "I'm 53 years old, single, no husband, and it's the best I've felt in 20 years." 1993, Audrey dies. Cancer, age 63. Andrea is not at the funeral, sends flowers. The card says, "Condolences," cold, impersonal, exactly like their marriage. Robert Wolders gives the eulogy, mentions Audrey's strength, her courage, her ability to survive impossibility. He doesn't mention Andrea by name, doesn't need to, everyone knows. After the funeral, a reporter asks Andrea, "Do you regret the affairs? The way you treated Audrey?" "We had a complicated marriage," Andrea says. "These things happen." "Do you feel responsible for her pain?" "I feel that Audrey was an exceptional woman, but our marriage was not exceptional. That's nobody's fault. Just reality." No apology, no remorse, no acknowledgement of the pain he caused. Just, "These things happen." That's the final insult. 13 years of affairs, 3 years of public humiliation. Audrey's suffering documented in newspapers. And Andrea's response, "These things happen." Some people never learn, never change, never feel remorse. Andrea Dotti is one of them. He died in 2007, age 73. The obituaries mention his career as a psychiatrist, his marriage to Audrey Hepburn, his colorful personal life. Colorful personal life. That's the euphemism. The polite way to say, serial cheater who humiliated his famous wife publicly for years. Luca Dotti, Audrey's son, spoke about his father once. Just once, in an interview in 2015. "My father was not a good husband. Everyone knows that. But he was my father, and I loved him despite his flaws." When asked about the public affairs, Luca said, "Those years were hell for my mother. Watching her read newspapers about my father's affairs, watching her pretend everything was fine. I was a child. But I remember her pain. Why did she stay? Because leaving would have hurt me and Sean. Because she thought protecting us meant staying in the marriage. She was wrong, but she believed it. And by the time she realized leaving was better than staying, years had passed. That's Audrey's legacy. Not the films, not the fashion, but the survival. The woman who endured public humiliation for 3 years because she thought it protected her children. The woman who finally chose herself. The woman who proved it's never too late to leave. 1979. Newspapers start publishing photos. Andrea Dotti's affairs, public, documented, undeniable. Audrey stays for 3 more years, 1979, 1980, 1981, 1982. 3 years of humiliation. Everyone asking, why doesn't she leave? She stays because she's exhausted, because she's ashamed, because she's terrified of being alone, because she hopes he'll change, because leaving requires strength she doesn't have. Until 1982, when she realizes, staying will kill me, and I want to live. So she leaves, divorces, becomes single at 53, lives 10 more years, free, finally free. This is what nobody tells you about leaving. It's not dramatic, not sudden, not one moment of clarity. It's gradual, accumulating pain until staying becomes more dangerous than leaving, until survival requires escape. Audrey Hepburn stayed 3 years too long, but she left. That's what matters. She left. Andrea Dotti cheated publicly, humiliated her publicly, made her pain entertainment, and faced no consequences. Remarried, continued cheating, lived exactly as he wanted. But Audrey got free, got peace, got 10 years of life without him. That's victory, not perfect victory, but real. If you're staying in something that's killing you because you're tired, ashamed, afraid, know this: leaving is possible. Not easy, not quick, but possible. Audrey proved it. 53 years old, 3rd divorce, exhausted, broken. She still left. You can too. This is Audrey Hepburn. The Hidden Truth. From wartime horrors to Hollywood secrets, we uncover what they've been hiding for decades. Subscribe to discover the dark truth behind the elegant image.